phone. Okay.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Screen Smash. I'm your host, Dan Morris. Joining me this evening, I have Jake Brown.
It is I, Jake from State Farm.
Louis Brezza.
Hi. Hi.
Slightly different than usual, but good variance, Louis. And also joining us tonight, we have friend of the show and fan, Jordan Briggs.
Friend and fan, Jordan Briggs. And we're going here to discuss some games with you guys. So,
yeah. You want to give us a quick little, about yourself quick before we jump into it, Jordan?
Yeah, man. I'm a content creator, guys. You can follow me on Instagram at _Briggs, BRIGGS Squad 1. That's also the name of my YouTube channel. And I also, in my free time, like the game. More Madden in 2K, but I know a little bit about all of it, and I just love commentary. So we're gonna have a blast tonight, guys.
Yes, commentary. That's what it's all about. That's why we're here. That's what we do.
I am a walking comment.
Louis is a comment.
It's very true.
We will be commenting tonight on a few things. We're going to be commenting about the closure of the eShop for Nintendo's Wii U and 3DS, which is happening today. It's closing. It's probably already closed now.
I think it closed already.
Yeah, I think it closed effectively about an hour ago, something like that, as of this recording, which is sad. But we'll get into that. We're also going to talk about some of the really insane looking previews and tech demos that came out of the State of Unreal last week, especially Senua, something I am incredibly passionate about, and I can't wait for that and to see. Oh my god, it's so juicy looking. All right, and we're gonna close out the show talking about microtransactions and specifically those that plague the NBA 2K franchise. That's what.
Yes. If you guys play 2K, you may not know it, but you're playing one of the most expensive games out right now, and we'll get into that later. So,
Oh, if you're playing, you know it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
You know.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So to get us started, we're going to talk about the closing of the eShop.
F's in the chat.
Rip all the digital games of the eShop for the Wii U and the 3DS. Especially, I feel like not so many people are going to care about the Wii U as much, but the 3DS.
You shut your mouth right now. You shut your mouth right now.
You and I are one of the few, Jake. You and I are the few.
I like the Wii U.
I still like my Wii U. I have a lot of the Wii U is the first Nintendo console I started buying games digitally on, to be fair. It was the first console I felt comfortable doing that, especially when they would just start dropping Nintendo games, like the old Nintendo games left and right.
I think the Wii U is very underrated. It had the best virtual console.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's what makes this so hard.
I've heard a lot of people talk about that, yeah.
No, for sure. End of the era. Are they going to do anything about? Are they going to lose those games? Are they going to remaster, or are there going to be a way to still play those? Or there's no plan? What's the deal with that?
Your only options right now is either dust off a Nintendo 64 or 3DS if you have one, or you wait around 10, 15, 20, 30, a million years until Nintendo's like, well, maybe put it out on the Switch.
Yeah,
part of a membership that you can pay for.
They did
so much salt.
They're
Nintendo.
Slowly rolling out the remasters. They ported a bunch of Wii U games to the Switch. They did the Super Mario Brothers Wii U, but then they changed it to the Switch version essentially. Then they brought out that Metroid Prime remaster, which it was initially a GameCube game, but then it got a Wii port in the collection, which is playable on the Wii U. But then you couldn't do anything else. And now we got the port that came to the Switch. But there's so many small indie games that got put on the Wii U and the 3DS that those are going to just poof, gone forever. And that's where, to me, I hate the thought of just that loss for gaming history. Games that just, they're gone. They're gone.
No, some of the best games are those indie games that are just kind of diamonds in the rough. And, some people play them offline. So I definitely do feel that, We were just talking about Fuse and Frenzy. Remember, I'm sure there's a Fuse and Frenzy type of game in that eShop that's no longer going to get remastered. That's just going to get lost in the abyss. So I don't know who's making the trumpet sound, but definitely violins. Yeah, for eShop, definitely, guys. I'm feeling it.
Yeah,
I definitely had the first time I ever bought anything related on Nintendo Online was for the Wii. because it was like one of the Legend of Zeldas, like the original ones, and I'm just like, I can't not play it on this console now, so I'm gonna do that. But I never got the Wii U, so I'm kind of like, oh, that sucks. It doesn't really affect me. But I've heard a lot of people talk about how good it was.
It's basically the same thing, like because the Wii U had a Wii in it, and all the virtual console from the Wii came over to the Wii U. It all transferred over. So anything you loved about the Wii's virtual console was inherent to the Wii U, especially the virtual console games. Yeah. I actually, not too long ago, I think it was when Metroid Dread came out, I was replaying Super Metroid on my Wii U. And I was like, oh man, this is so awesome. I'm like, I was playing Metroid Fusion as well. I had it for whatever reason. I think I went in and snagged a bunch of games that, this would have been about last year because that's when they announced that they were going to close the shop down. And I probably went in and started like grabbing stuff up, I'm like whatever I can get with what currency I have on my account.
Buy everything.
Speaking of buying everything, there was actually, it came out that there was a guy, like a YouTuber, went on the eShop. He bought every single game you could between the Wii U and the 3DS. It cost him $22,000. But he now owns every single game that was ever released.
I want to meet this man. I want to ask him, what do you do for a living? And can you hire me? Because
YouTube.
I want that kind of money.
Yeah, think about that disposable income to buy $22,000 worth of virtual games. That's crazy.
That's insane, man.
Especially I would rather have a $22,000 computer. Can I do that, please?
But I would watch that video though, for sure. Like that's a super thumbnail clickbait type of like, I bought every game on eShop. Like, why not? I got to see how you did it.
I'm terrified of how long it must have taken, because have you ever bought a game on the eShop and like the process of downloading that game, especially like it was the 3DS or the Wii U had it where you start downloading and it's like the little bubbles like bringing in blocks of data, and it was like bloop, like the claw, and like it takes forever to download.
I even had that problem with the Switch, and you can even connect. I have the OLED one, so you can connect that directly to the internet, and I'm like 99%. Like, come on. 3
hours later.
I feel like this wouldn't be as big a deal if they would just preserve the virtual shop like they did on the old ones, but they don't. It's not there. And I get why they're cutting off the 3DS, because they're basically treating the Switch as the new 3DS. So the Switch is effectively a handheld platform, so they don't need the 3DS anymore. But I still feel like the 3DS is a good console to have, especially now. It's kind of had a resurgence in the last couple of years with the COVID, and like gaming kind of had a massive spike when people got stuck. Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah.
But now like you can't buy a game digitally for that platform anymore.
Yeah, when I was doing my research, because also as well, I'm not the biggest Nintendo store guy, but to see how they were taking the whole virtual store away made me empathize, just because you gotta have to protect your fans and your buyers when you do stuff like that. I feel like even if it's going to happen, some things do get obsolete, especially in technology, but you got to find a way to, I guess, a middle ground. So to all those Nintendo gamers, my heart goes out to you guys.
Yeah. And PlayStation tried doing the same thing to the PS3. It was a year ago, 2 years ago.
I think so. But didn't they backpedal on that a little bit?
They did. They backpedaled.
Completely,
they ended up not closing it down. After they were like, yep, we're going to shut it down. We're going to stop offering this.
They got really angry. People were not like, people are not happy about the Nintendo thing, but whoa, it got bad with the PlayStation one. I remember
my biggest frustration I had with that was the PS1 games, the PS1 classics. The current I had bought a bunch of PS1 classics on the PS3, but then it's like, you're gonna take those away from me? Like, I can't have those anymore unless like I have to keep them downloaded, and then if I uninstall it or if my hard drive gets corrupted, I don't get that back. That's just gone. That's a loss to me.
Oof. Yeah, you would think in 2023 there'd be some better like backwards compatibility, but I think they're just moving away from disc in general. So.
But that's another argument right there, is backwards compatibility. Like Sony seems very anti-backwards compatibility in that front.
As far as their old games.
Yeah, I saw somebody talking about that. He's a really good YouTuber whose name I can't remember. Oh, Scott the Waz, I think. He's pretty popular. Real funny guy. He does basically nothing but Nintendo stuff. Is really, really funny. And one of them was specifically about the backpedaling stuff. And he talks about like PlayStation and stuff. What he thinks it is that they don't want you to see stuff that is not representative of what they are capable of now. So because it's like an older kind of a thing, it's like we have way better graphics now. It's like that's not why I want to play it. It has nothing to do with that. I want to play the original Resident Evil because it's so damn good.
I want the original game. Like, yeah.
I feel like that's kind of an ignorant look and approach on that whole aspect.
Yeah, but I think he's right. I think that there's a lot of justification to that, which is, where remakes and then another remake and then a remake of that remake come in, because it's just people trying to like improve on the thing that was already done perfectly. But as much as I love Final Fantasy VII Remake, it's still not Final Fantasy VII. It's just not, no matter what you do to it. And I always kind of feel like it's the same principle that we've talked about this before. When you're talking about like the movie like the Ghostbusters, they ruined it by putting women in there. It's like, no, the original one is right there. Just go watch it. But you can literally watch the original Ghostbusters on any streaming platform now, as long as they have it. You can't do that with games. Games do get remade in a way that they were not done originally. That's why we have like the Silent Hill. When they didn't remake it, but they remastered it. Yeah. Silent Hill 2, and it's not the same. In fact, they lost the coding for the original, so they had to basically redo the whole thing. Like, how do you lose the best, one of the best games of your company's history, one of the most iconic games in history, and you're like, we put it in the trash or something? I don't know. They left it on my desk, and you thought it was,
To echo that, literally right before we went live, I was talking to Jordan about Ninja Gaiden and the Ninja Gaiden Master Collection, because Ninja Gaiden Sigma and Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2 were the exact same thing. The company re-released the games, but they lost most of the original code. So they had to redo big bits of the game. So the re-releases aren't the same as the original, and they're not as good because they were just like, we don't know how to do this like the other people did. Anyways,
like I get that with certain movies and stuff like that, after a certain back catalog, they ran out of room at those places, and they never thought people are going to want to watch the Great Train Robbery again, because it would suck back then even for them, and now it's history. But with a game with modern technology, with modern never mind, I'm done. I'm sorry.
Either way,
Jordan, don't get me started.
Rand appreciated, man. I love the passion. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a sad day for gamers when games are lost to the annals of time, and that's kind of the double-edged sword of digital convenience.
Yeah,
in the most blatant way, because I love the convenience of digital games, but also there's that it could just go poof and it's gone. Something you can do about it.
Last note on that is, I think it really sucks for people who don't have those original consoles that play the. It's like,
that's a great point.
Completely gone.
Yeah,
it's like you're missing out on great games like Paper Mario or Donkey Kong 64 and Star Fox 64. Like, so many great games just gone.
Yeah, and Nintendo is dragging their feet on making them available on the modern platforms for whatever reason.
Yeah, no, they're just trying to milk it.
We're gonna get another Super Mario World again.
Don't even. Mario Maker was the game to end all Mario games, and then they made another Mario Maker. I don't get it. Moving on.
Yes, moving on. Tiny trumpets and violins for the loss of the eShop, and everyone take a moment of silence.
Sorry, wrong sound effect. All right.
But going from something sad, moving on to something amazing, let's talk about the preview for the technology they're using for the new Senua Saga Hellblade 2.
Man.
Yeah.
Crazy realistic. Mm-hmm. I was caught off guard, honestly. Dan, when you told me to check out the video, I you look at these Unreal, these headlines about Unreal Engine all the time, but that was an impressive demo, especially in the beginning. I was thrown off between this and AI and Chat GPT and all this stuff. I'm just too psyched out. But the graphic engine is amazing, and the game it just builds more anticipation. So like from a novice standpoint, I was impressed.
Like the way I see it, I'm like that right there, like that is next gen. Like
Yeah.
that is what I want every
point.
game to look like.
Great
Because
point.
I feel like the transition between Xbox One, PS4 to the newer consoles, there's not much of a difference. I mean, it might play a little smoother, but I don't see a difference in graphics. But like right there is amazing. And the fact that that little scene was done on an iPhone, what the heck, man? That blows my mind.
Yeah, to rebound on that, I agree. What you just said too about the generational jumps, like you said, I like the 360 from the Xbox or the PlayStation 3 from the PS2, especially with the addition of HD gaming. That was just a huge jump in general, from 480 to 720. And then, there was kind of a performance jump, I feel like, with the PS4 Pro and the PlayStation 4, just because I think the hertz, you could really see that when you performed, but I don't feel like every
frame
game
rate was like the
frame-
incremental
right.
difference there.
Right. More on the performance side than the stills. But I do feel like now, a game like this, a casual, a regular person who is not really doesn't really know the numbers, or all the stats, can be like, that's an upgrade. That's worth upgrading my PlayStation 4 to a PlayStation 5.
That's actually pretty interesting. I kind of think of the same term of like, if you have to tell me the numbers to prove that if I don't care about numbers, if I don't care about any of that, I just want pretty thing looking prettier, give me an upgrade. And we haven't gotten that upgrade that we've been wanting for a long time. Like, I think that the PS5 to the PS4 is just a faster processor. It's like, okay, cool. It's a lot quicker now. And it looks a little better, but yeah, the PS
Load
Pro,
speeds is a big thing. Load speeds, faster memory.
That's the main
SSDs.
difference I see too. Yeah.
Games
that and the
loading
controller
faster.
is ridiculous.
If you ever, if you spend all day playing on a PS5 or an Xbox Series, and then you decide, I'm going to pop into my Xbox 360 real quick, and you're sitting there waiting for days for like a loading, and you're like, holy fuck, has it always been this slow? I don't remember it being this slow. Like, your brain kind of plays tricks on you because you're not.
It's kind of like looking at an old TV and you're like, "What? Wait, was I always looking at TV and it was this bad?" Like right. Yeah, no, I can
Why is
see
everything
that.
so bright? Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah.
But
going from my computer to my Switch, I'm just like, get there.
Dan, I would also argue though, but is it, you said, because obviously you can test it out. The game speeds are faster, but it's almost kind of like, I feel like I said, from a casual consumer perspective, it's like when you get the new iPhone, yeah, okay, the battery has improved, but also too, I'm just also getting a brand new battery on top of that. Like after when my phone was being used, so like you said, the numbers are better, and then it probably performs better. But just graphically though, I think that's something that people can get excited behind, even the most like regular gamer, because that was unreal. Like,
that'll sell, man.
Unreal.
That'll sell consoles right there.
Well, I want to set up some context here too for everyone who has no idea what the hell we're talking about right now. The thing we're talking about is the newest game from Ninja Theory that was announced back in 2019. It's the sequel to Hellblade 1. It's Senua Saga Hellblade 2. And this Ninja Theory originally showcased Hellblade 1 back in like 2017, and it looked incredible for what effectively Ninja Theory is like a AA studio. They're not quite AAA. They're pretty small. They've been independent forever up until Microsoft acquired them. And now they're fronting the bills for Ninja Theory to just go off the rails and make this amazing new technology, which they're utilizing the Unreal Engine 5. And what we're talking about now is this showcase where they brought Melina Jurgens out on stage to showcase some new technology. Melina Jurgens is the actress / video editor that works at Ninja Theory and plays Senua. And holy crap, was it freaking impressive to watch them do this presentation on screen where they had her record a couple of lines, and she did it with an iPhone, and then they transferred it into this program called MetaHuman Animator, which is what they're using to make mocap faster and easier. And then they turned around and showed us the first taste of Senua Saga since 2021. And I'm going to tell you right now, I love Ninja Theory's games, and I loved Hellblade 1. Watching that 60 seconds of just Senua peering into my soul, I got goosebumps and my eyes welled up with tears. I was just like, this is the most powerful fucking thing I've seen in a long time.
And this man feels nothing.
I am dead inside.
Nothing.
I feel lots of things. I'm just really good at keeping them somewhere else.
Yeah, man. For the eye candy people, like I'm big on visuals. Like I get the new iPhone solely just because I like and I keep my phone brightness high all the time. Like my sister's always like, "Why are your phone so bright?" I'm like, I want to see every nit that I paid for.
I need to see all those pixels.
I need to see all of it. So yeah, I'm huge on aesthetics. I'm huge on visuals. So that's something that yeah, I just think it's cool, and I like to see how that technology over time, of course, gets just especially that the new way they mocap is used in even other games, sports games, and other games like that. But yeah, man, that was sick. That was sick. Definitely made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
So.
Not to mention, they showed off the new editor engine in Fortnite. I hope you saw some of this, Jake. I hope you saw some of this. I want to hear what you think about this because.
Oh man.
Ooh, man,
like the possibilities that you can do with that. Like, dude, I saw that and I was like, this is freaking insane, man. I was like, I wonder if they can get better like models. I know you can probably models with the Unreal Engine and whatnot, but from the Unreal editor, they showed off the daytime one first, and then as soon as they went to nighttime, I was like, oh my god, I want to learn how to do all this. And I want to like recreate Shadow Moses from Metal Gear Solid 1. I was like, if Konami ain't gonna do it, I'm gonna freaking do it myself, man. Dude, but like I just want to create like everything. I can see the possibilities. I can see someone making like their own games like of Halo or Gears or something using that.
Also, I was going to say that little previews that we got, these are demos you can download and play within Fortnite, by the way. Like they have different demos with different genres. They all look incredible. And like the first preview they showed off was like somebody built this like a third person shooter within Fortnite, but it looked like Gears of War, but played like Fortnite. And I'm like, this is what Fortnite would be like if it was an actual like single player campaign that's focused on running and gunning and fighting enemies rather than just a battle royale. And it looks incredible. And it was so well like put together where you had to fight this giant robot, and it was like this giant epic conclusion of the robot exploding and falling back into a building.
I got so many like Metal Gear vibes when I saw that robot, and I was like, oh man, this is so cool.
What was
and they released it, I think, the same day, didn't they? I think they released it as soon as they announced it, like later that day.
Yeah.
What was the Metal Gear Solid? Oh, you're good, man. What was the Metal Gear Solid that came out like around the launch of the PS3? Which one was 4? Yeah, at the time, like my middle school self, the graphics blew my mind back then on that. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I do remember those conferences like around 2006 when they were showing off the gameplay for that, and at the time I was like, man, that's crazy. That was crazy. So
I'm sure Dan and I can go on for days.
I thought back then, this is it. This is
they don't get better than this. They don't get better than this.
This is all we ever need.
In some ways.
I mean, yeah, they've gotten a little cleaner. They've gotten a little smoother. If you look at Metal Gear 4, it's still ridiculous.
It holds up, man.
I think that's a testament to Hideo, though, and Hideo Kojima.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Is that his engine, not Unreal, was that powerful. Now it's being used just for soccer and Plinko. But anyway, we won't get into that part. I don't know. When I saw it, I watched it 5 minutes before this. And I had to
always prepared.
Shut up. So Jake and Dan are like talking, and I'm like, I can't see what's happening. So I take off my headset so I could concentrate on. You're right, Dan. Just those eyes looking into your soul. There's little tiny nuances that you kind of is like, okay, this isn't a real person.
It's hard to tell, though.
So hard to tell.
Honest to God, before the fire gets lit, you really can't tell the difference. I have really great vision. I feel like once the flames and the scars are on the face, you can. It was now you can see a little more. Okay, yeah, this is not real. But that beginning, especially when the deep blacks are in the back and it was kind of dark, man, that freaked me out.
when she walks up to it, I was like, "This is no, that's not."
The motion is what sells it so hard too. The motion is so exact and lifelike, and the frame rate is so smooth. It's hard to tell that this isn't an actual person I'm looking at right now.
Yeah.
But
did anybody else think that the reality shot when they actually show her wearing the thing that looked worse?
Also didn't get much.
No, I saw that and I'm like, the graphics in reality suck. Like, she was way better. Oh man.
So this is the game? Oh no, this is garbage.
all I can say is I love Hellblade. Hellblade 1 is fantastic. You definitely need to go play Hellblade if you haven't. There's a reason why the game won a bunch of awards, and there's a reason why Hellblade 2 should be on your list of like most anticipated games, because that team over there, oh my god, their game design is just unheard of. I can't wait. I hope we get some sort of a release date sometime soon, but it's okay if we don't. I let them take their time.
Yeah, no, I'll let them take their time. But yeah, that's definitely on my list. I gotta play the first one now. But yeah,
it's short and sweet. Hellblade is short and sweet. It's about maybe an 8-hour playthrough. It's very similar to like God of War 2018 and its play style and gameplay. But it's more focused on the narrative, the storytelling, and what Senua is experiencing, because the game is all about her mental health more than anything.
Right. I did pick that up when I was doing my research and everything. So
if you have a VR,
I still need to play the VR
on the VR. It is so good. like when I saw that it was in VR, and I'm like, oh my god, like that's a lot of mechanics, and I still have only started the game. I haven't gotten that deep into it, so I was wondering how the hell are they going to do this. And then when I put it on, you're the camera. You're behind her as she's doing everything that she's doing, but you can physically stand up and walk around her, like if your room is big enough. So you're in this weird, awesome reality of like both third person and being literally physically there. And I was like, there is no reason, no game can do this from now on. Maybe like Batman and Spider-Man, because you're literally flying through the city and stuff like that. Okay, there's a lot of vomit on the floor to be picked up after that, but there's no reason any other game that is more stationary cannot be done like this. Don't give me that.
Yeah, it does up the standard. Honestly, I feel like going forward, it definitely does. And because, like you said, some people do have. I think Jake was saying some people still feel like some of these older games look as good as some of these newer games. So I do feel like, especially in motion, because I know even for certain 2Ks, like okay, Xbox One launch console, we want to show off what the game can do. So we make it super visual, but the next year we want smoother gameplay, like we were talking about hertz and everything like that. So we're going to strip down some of the sweat and everything that we were selling that first game, but the game's going to play smoother. But to some fans, you're like, hey, why does 2K16 look better than 2K18? You know, stuff like that. So there's a lot of intricacy sometimes that goes into it. Stuff
because of the sweat.
Yeah, it's always about the amount of sweat on the skin.
They do that slow motion close up on just a bead. I'm like, I don't care. Show me the game.
That reminds me of whenever they do those showcases of the racing games when they come to the new consoles, because they did it with Gran Turismo. They've done it with Forza now, and the new Forza was just showing off this new gameplay, and it's like zooming in on the panels of the car, and you're like, look at the grains of dirt on the panels, and it's like, that's great. How much are you gonna remove of that next time so that the game I mean, they're promising that the game is going to have that visual fidelity and still run at 60 frames per second, which is insane. I think they're even going for 120 FPS.
Is that why they keep pushing it back as far as like Gran Turismo? Didn't it get pushed back again, or did it drop?
Forza?
No,
Gran Turismo's out. I mean, the last Gran Turismo came out for the PS5 and PS4 last year. But now Forza is coming back to the Xbox, hopefully sometime this year. And oh my god, it looks so gorgeous. It looks so good if you like car games. But anyways, I digress.
I'm barely starting Breath of the Wild for the first time, and I'm already about, 80 hours in, because Jesus Christ, and they're already going to do part 2. I just started part 1 before they announced part 2, and I was happy that there's going to be a part 2, but now I'm thinking, is that exactly going to be just like this one, which is way more and way bigger, because that's what you do with the sequel, is that you go bigger and grander, and where that is good, this is already an 80-hour game. I did Red Dead Redemption 2. Is that not enough?
It kind of makes me question everything about my reality. It kind of makes me not understand what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. Am I doing the thing that I was put on this planet to do, or am I not doing? Somebody tell me that I am real. Somebody please tell me I'm a good boy and I'm doing the things that I'm supposed to do. At this point, I'm not even sure anymore. Is that why she left? Oh my God. Anyway, well, I think that I'm looking forward to the next Legend of Zelda.
We're going to move on to the highlight of the night, which is microtransaction madness.
Sorry.
Microtransactions. So
tiny.
the core concept here is this kind of was birthed by the fact that Louis has kind of bitched to me before about how much he hates the whole grind of NBA. And then I got talking to Jordan, and Jordan also has the same kind of gripes. And I'm going to let you guys take the floor on this.
I'll start. They suck. End of story.
Oh man, dude. I honest to God. Yeah, right. And for anybody listening, yeah, NBA 2K, and it shouldn't be like this. This is a sports game, but it's turned into one of the most expensive games you can play if you want to be competitive. Truth be told, I feel like I've been a competitive 2K player since 2K8. I've been a competitive NBA game player since like the year 2002 or something like that. And the amount of time now you really have to play. Well, actually, I want to break it down. I want to break some stats down to you guys, actually, and I'll start with that. So let's just start off with your my player, because that's what that's kind of like the mode that everybody pushes these days, especially 2K. That's what
drew me in when I did play the series. Yeah, was my player.
Sure. For sure. They've done a great job with my player as far as how detailed it is. This is the closest thing we can get to a sports RPG. I feel like that's super cool. However, like I said, you start off pretty bad, which is fine. The average attribute it takes to get maxed out is about 30,000 VC. I looked this up. To get 50,000 VC, it costs $19.99. So it just creates a competitive imbalance. I feel like just because of the amount of reps you have to play, you can play your games. In your games, you get about 1,000 VC per game. So just to get about like 70,000 VC, you would need to play about 70 games, full games. That's a lot of gameplay hours. And like I said, a lot of people just want to get to the park. You just want to play. And it's just impossible, man. You want to get badges to be eligible for certain badges. You have to have your ratings at a certain level. So it's like now I have to spend more VC just so I can get my attributes to just so I can earn a badge. So I can just buy a badge. And it's just,
what are the badges?
Oh man, you got clutch shot, 3-point sniper.
Do they give you like specific skills?
So like many achievements in a way?
No. Essentially, it kind of increases the stat for that particular thing.
Okay, so if you have the badge for it makes you a little better at that specific
essentially
at that specific thing. Like let's say you have guard break, which is like you can like push through to get closer to the net. If you have a level 3, that means that you have a higher chance of it, but that doesn't mean that you are definitely going to get it. If you have another guy who also has his guard is at a level 3, that's just stagnant now. Now you're not going anywhere. And so even with as many badges as humanly possible, as maxed out as humanly possible, which already takes forever on top of the VC, on top of everything else, you are still not guaranteed to be the strongest player next to somebody who has either put in over 170 hours versus you who has spent, and this has happened to a friend of mine, about close to $1,000 in over a year on one game. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. There's a reason I get like, hold on, I'm gonna go punch something.
Right.
Like,
I don't think I've ever spent that kind of money on a single game.
And it's crazy. So because when you max
Jake's
out
over there thinking about Fortnite right now. Like,
no, I've spent some.
He has a lot of Fortnite skins. So
I've spent $20 on Overwatch, and I love Overwatch, and that was because I wanted one costume, and they wouldn't give me the damn money for it. But that's as close as I've ever come. Anyway, sorry, Jordan.
Oh no, you're good, man. No, you're good. You're good. I know. I was laughing though. It did look like he was kind of thinking about how much he did spend on Fortnite. He was probably like,
My view on this, I think it depends which game it is and how it's used, essentially. So like
Okay.
games like Fortnite, I don't really mind it because like I like paying for skins. It gives the game more of a shelf life. And it's not essentially, it doesn't
It's not
affect
pay to
gameplay.
win on that either.
Yeah, it's not pay to win. It doesn't affect gameplay. It's just like, this is your choice. If you want it, that's fine. If you don't, do you. I don't care. But then on the other side of the coin, the pay to win games. That is what I hate, because I used to play Gears Pop on my phone, and it was so much fun. It was like the little defense game, whatever. I think it was like Clash of Clans almost. I never
Yeah,
played
like a
it.
reskin of Clash of Clans.
And it's like, it's so much fun to play, and you can choose to pay money to get more characters and whatnot. And I didn't for a hot minute. But once you reach a certain level, you kind of have to, otherwise you're going to lose everything, because the game's not like you versus computer, you versus, PvP. And it got to the point I was like, I'm not dropping money on this. I've already dropped so much money on other things. I don't want to do it. Things like Gears 4 had that with their loot boxes. I'm not a fan of loot boxes. I'm not a fan of gambling, which brings me to, I used to play Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle for a hot minute, man. I played that for like 5 or 6 years. I can't remember. I started day one, and one of their big first events they had was they released Gogeta as a character. You collect cards essentially as characters, and you use them in battle. They have different stats, and so the character Gogeta was like the character to get, and he has like tiny drop rate. And so I used up all my in-game currency, nothing, and then I was like, all right, let me drop $20. Another $20, nothing. What's another 20? Dude, I spent $200 trying to get this one character. Nothing. A buddy next to me who literally downloaded the game the same day, first roll gets it. I was like, I'm done. I hate it.
And that's a lot of the issue. And I mean, we can also do a very prime comparison with like Battlefield or Battlefront.
I was going to bring up Battlefront too.
Battlefront was the one that, like, because okay, so I'm not a big sports guy, and that's why I'm also listening to Jordan here more than anything, because I got it to play with my friends. The boys are gonna get on. We're gonna play.
That's what
a game.
got me into NBA games in the first place. Is my buddy who was like, "Let's play NBA together," and I was like, "All right, cool." And I got into it, and I was like, "This is fun. I'm gonna play."
I mean, we had a good time when I'm Michael Jordan, and I'm playing with Scottie Pippen. Like that was great. But when it came to like my guy and all of that, which we bought the next one, I think the last one I ever bought was like 2019, and I hated every second of it. I have a full-time job, and when I got back from home one day, I'm not lying, they were like, Louis, you got to put in the time. This was during the pandemic, so they were working from home, so they were able to like do a lot of the gaming while they were doing the working. I didn't do that. I was at my office, and so they were like, you got to put in at least 40 hours minimum a week to get this done. And I'm like, fuck you. I'm not going to play this game. And so I stopped playing the game. And anytime that they wanted to get on the game, I was like, I'm just not going to do it, because I get kind of defiant when you tell me stupid shit like that. And I'm like, I'm not doing that, dude. So they kind of stopped asking. They're really good guys. They stopped asking. They stopped, but at the same time, it did hit me in this kind of a way, because as Jordan is also talking about, he wasn't even near done. Like, the amount of effort that you have to put in, and I want him to go back into it, because think of all those levels. And again, I have a friend who spent over $1,000 in total on a game in a year, and it didn't matter. It didn't do anything. He paid to play, and it still was okay. It didn't do much. Wow, that all rhymed. It still, there was not enough to keep us all involved, and we were all still on the same level. And I didn't spend a red cent except the $60 to get the damn thing. And so, like, the closest that you could talk about is probably, Battlefront. But that's just because it actually did affect the gameplay. That if you pay enough to get Darth Vader, and then you can scoop him up, and then get all the loot boxes to open up to upgrade his 3 cards, then you were unstoppable. So if I'm going up against a guy who spent $500 on the damn game, and I spent the 20 that it was on sale for, there's no chance.
What I don't
no chance.
Context, and I wanted to make this a big point, was when Battlefront 2, before the game came out, they revealed the structure of how that ecosystem was going to work in the game for the loot boxes and for the unlocks. And they got so much hate for it and they got so much flack for it that they took it all out. Like people were banning the game. They were going to say like, nope, we're not buying this. We're not going to have to spend minimum 50 hours of multiplayer gameplay time to unlock one character. And that's just the ability to buy them, not get them. You unlock the ability to buy them. You have to play 50 hours to unlock one character. How is it that Battlefront got completely demolished for this to the point where they've removed that entirely? But yet here we are, NBA is doing it left and right, backwards, upwards.
Well, this is the biggest issue, Dan, I would say, and it's the lack of competition. I'm gonna be honest with you right now.
EA
NBA 2K, EA Sports, which was actually, I would like to say, actually during my childhood, during the PlayStation 2 and Xbox generation, and even before that, when I played on PS1 and 64, NBA Live, EA Sports definitely had, I would say, the most popular game, NBA Simulation for sure, for sure. Going from 360 forward, NBA was trash. They stopped. There's no NBA Inside Drive. I remember Microsoft
I bought the last NBA Live game that came out. It was on sale for like $8 or something. I played it for like an hour, and I'm like, "This is so bad." I'm like, "Oh,
yeah." So it's like if you want to play an NBA game at this point, you kind of have to go to 2K. I feel like that's part of the reason why. And I want to rebound on his point as well. Like you said, it's really not fun because I would do say this: the NBA 2K does a really great job of making the game as realistic as possible. It is a true simulation. It's not an arcade type of NBA game. So it does make it hard when you don't have high attributes. Like you said, it is fun to play with Michael Jordan if you can play with the old Bulls. It is fun to play with LeBron James. But you're my player. Say if you make, like, my guy is a 3-level scorer. That's like the archetype. He's about 6'8". So I have a max amount of attributes for each category: 3-point shooting, steals, they can go up to keep the competitive balance. For me to max out all my attributes, and I have that screen grab, I sent it to you, it would take 470,000 VC. 200,000 VC is $100. So even if I paid for $200 worth of VC on top of the fact I already paid $60 for the game, I still would be about $80,000 short to completely max out my player. And that's just to max out the attributes what they give me for that build. So say, because I made a 3-level shooter, my build, the highest I can max out my 3-pointers to 89. I get it to a 90. You can actually break the 90s, but I don't know the exact number because I haven't got that far. Apparently the VC goes up in cost once you get to the 90s because they really want to keep like 99 maxed out players off of the park and off of online and stuff like that. But it's ridiculous. And you can imagine the gameplay that doesn't forget a job. You can't even have a part-time job if you want to compete in 2K. I'm going to be honest with you. You can put that to the side. You got to pick careers here.
and if you're not winning, it's not worth spending the money.
Very true.
So the people that would be getting into these competitions just based off of their raw talent are being completely shut out because there's no way that they're going to be able to get those kinds of stats.
Yeah.
And oh God, like, this is where all of that passion comes from. This is where all of that anger. I don't even like the game. I don't care. But I know people. We have friends. We have friends in our community. We have people at the CouchSoup, people that we watch. All these individuals are being shut out of a game that they did all of this great graphics and all this design and physics and blah, blah, blah. And you fucked it up because you're like, well, I'm going to squeeze every goddamn cent they can out of you. Even though we're one of the highest rated, we are one of the highest rated studios. We get money just for existing. We sponsor the games that you're playing for competitions. People pay just to see us, and they still need more money for what?
Pockets.
You keep giving it to them. I think that's the issue.
No,
we're not anymore. We stopped.
I'm going on strike for sure, but no, it's pure greed. I agree. It's pure greed, and like you said, we keep falling for it, but it's taking the fun out the game. And I feel for my friends who are, because I fell in love with 2K because, truth be told, basketball was my first love in general, the sport. So I have a lot of friends who play 2K just because we used to play it growing up. They don't really play games much, but they know basketball, and they know they should know how to play the game. It should be easier to pick up and play for their my player. And since they're not putting in the hours, since they're not spending the money more than anything, because like I said, you can put in the hours, like I said, 1,000 VC per game. That will give you about 70,000 after 74 games played. still it's not. You're still not going to. It's going to take about 3 years to start having fun. By then, they'll be on 2K26, 27, right? So it's just I feel for the casual gamer, which is why I always like to protect the most. So
what's crazy to me, and I want to jump in here, is I used to play the 2K games up until a certain point, but the one I played the most was the one, to me, was when they really kind of like switched things up, and I think it was the first game that added the My Player mode, which was 2K11.
Before Micro, yeah.
2K11 was the one that I spent the most time in. I played a lot of 2K13 as well, but I remember I spent lots of time on 2K11, and I did like 3 seasons with a My Player character. I went to win a bunch of championships with that character, and it was, like you said, it's the closest you get to like a sports RPG. You create a character.
Yeah.
I made it look as close to me as possible. I tried to play it like I would play at basketball, and you level up, you get experience points, you get better, you can increase your skills, and you get better and better as you play the game. But in 2K11, you don't spend any money.
No, it's pure skill. It's pure skill.
I'm curious now, if someone only played the newer games, what would it be like if they went back to play 2K11 today? How shocking would that be?
There's only one thing I want to add on top of that. I didn't play the game right because you want to be you in the game. It's me, right? It's called to me. That's not what we did. Again, these guys wanted to get as big of an edge as they could. So what they did was they were like, "What kind of player are you?" I'm like, "I'm more of a forward than anything." Like, okay, here's how you build the best forward. You have to have this exact height.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I exaggerated
weight.
my stats. I made myself taller, obviously.
Of course, but still, you want it. Like, I didn't get that. Like, I wanted a short, kind of stocky guy that can take on other people, but is still pretty fast. Like I feel I am in real life. Of course, it's a lie, but fuck you, it's my game. So I can't do that now because if I want to be able to even have a chance on the field, I have to do the optimum, which is this build. Exactly like this. He's got to be this height. He's got to be this thin. He's got to have this kind of stuff.
There's a lot of macro going on to the new versions of the
game.
Oh, they're really nuanced. 2K it came a long way from like the old sports games. And like I said, that's what makes it good because there's so many attributes. The rating system has gotten so in depth that like some of the animations that certain players pull off, sometimes they do look really realistic. Like it's a really great simulation. It looks better to watch sometimes than play, but because of that, like I said, the fun is taken out of it, and you really can't build a normal person on there. It's not even worth it.
A lot of this is also making me wonder about another thing, which is that back in the day, I randomly bought NFL 2K5. To this day, I still think that's one of the best football games ever
of the greatest, man.
made, and it was $20 brand new. They completely destroyed Madden that year, so much to the point that EA bought out the NFL rights.
Yeah,
so that's why there was no more NFL 2K after that because of that. And it makes me wonder, where would we be now if NFL 2K continued? What if there was an NFL 2K23 right now with this same VC
I hate
garbage?
EA Sports, so I feel like 2K would probably be the #1 football game, and unfortunately, we'll be falling victim to microtransactions on there too. But it probably would be a better game than Madden because Madden that's a whole other beast. Like they have
never liked Madden.
Yeah.
I used to play quarterback club. It said, "Fuck you, Madden."
Yeah, right. No, exactly. Yeah. But I will say at this point, Madden's more pick up and play though, but it's definitely nothing simulation about that game. A bunch of BS goes on, especially if you're a hardcore NFL fan. I feel like you get shit on more for like actually following the NFL more and actually caring about realism more if you play Madden versus 2K. So
yeah. And to be fair, I have for a long time now. I'm so off of sports now. I don't watch football anymore. I don't watch basketball anymore. Now I'm just like, go sports. Yeah, go sports. Have fun.
Go team.
Yeah. So,
go team. Go.
Right. But I feel for all of you sports fans out there and how you're being, they're predators. You guys are basically victims at this point, having to deal with this garbage. Like, oof. I can tell you right now, if I was still playing,
I only bought 2. I bought like 2018 because it was like $5 because 2019 was coming out. And then I bought 2019 because my friends were like, let's do it. I'm like, you know what? I had fun playing Michael Jordan. That's not what the fuck they were thinking. If they had told me we were going to make our own game, we're going to go online, I would be like, maybe let me think about it. No, they were just like, let's do this. I'm like, all right, I love you. Let's go. And no. So this is all from 2 games, just so you know.
Man, that frustration. You see what I'm saying? Like that's it's real. It's a real problem. For sure, for sure.
That's when you just
Okay.
avoid all that and you just load up freaking like NBA Jam on the 64.
I
know,
got hang
facts,
Call it a
man.
day,
time.
man.
I'm gonna play some hang
Facts.
time.
Right.
Facts. But it's
I
crazy
mean,
you say
freaking-
that because it brings a question up. Like, it's kind of like a side rant, but with sports games in general, like how much fun is a game? You want a simulation because you want a realistic. That's what the fans in the forums, like Operation Sports, Pasta Padre, we always ask for realism, realistic movement, stuff like that. But then, like you said, the more realistic it gets, the less fun it is. Because to be fair, like you said, I dust off that NBA Jam, man, and me and my boys
Oh,
are probably
yeah.
playing that all day.
I want to do the super dunks in the air, and you hear the airplane noises, like,
Yeah.
you know, and then bam, slam it, ding
Man,
dong.
like
My
games like
generation
that
of that is
and,
NBA Street. That's basically like
I
my
used to love
generation's
NBA
version
Street.
of
Oh
NBA Jam.
man, I played the
NFL
hell out of
Street
NBA
is
Street.
freaking.
Yeah, dude.
I loved shattering the backboard and then the ball still bounces off the backboard. I'm like, physics.
Physics.
Ridiculous, man.
It won't
No, for
shatter
sure.
again, so you know it was really shattered, but it still
Yeah.
bounces off the back.
Well, if it came
off
out
the
today, you would have
backboard.
to pay for that. I hope you know that.
Now-
Definitely. You gotta definitely do. You gotta pay for that
You gotta
animation.
buy a new backboard.
Get this super move. Ugh.
No,
Look at the
New
glass;
dunk
it
animation
shimmers
or
while it
something.
falls. It's so beautiful.
and the sweat. You gotta pay for the sweat too. The sweat
And
patches.
the sweat
Yeah.
patches. That's extra.
All right, so to wind us down on this conversation, like it's crazy. I don't understand how this is an okay thing that they're getting away with, especially a big company like 2K. And it's like they're doing it in Grand Theft Auto too, with the money,
Yeah.
the currency in Grand Theft Auto, like just charging people out the butt for fake money to get fake things. And then the last thing I wanted to touch on before we end is I read in this article that they have the in-game items like clothing for NBA that
Yeah.
cost more money
Yeah.
than the actual clothing in real life.
Oh no, you want a nice shirt on 2K? It's gonna cost you more than going to Walmart for sure.
I'm gonna look like a hobo in that game if
Yeah.
I ever play it. I guarantee you. Like I don't spend that kind of money on shirts in real life.
Right. Yeah. You can get it through
Oh,
VC,
no.
but like I said, the fastest way to get some of these, especially if you want to go to the barbershop, unlock like some dreadlocks, colored dreads or something like that. You want to get some tattoos. I know you all can shake your head, but if you see a guy who's like looks like John Moran out here, he probably paid a lot of money to get dripped up and dripped out in 2K.
The
No,
shaking of the
man.
head is that like I remember that part too because I was like, you know what? I don't like the haircut I gave my guy. Let me go get. Oh my, nope.
Yeah,
No,
it's
man.
almost it's
I
borderline.
wouldn't be caught doing that.
It's
Not
predatory.
be out on the court
My-
wearing
my
nothing.
guy-
They'll be calling me freaking naked Jake.
There was literally a point where like again I went to work and then I came back and my friends were like, all right, let's play. It was like 3 days later. And I run out onto the court with them, and I had like the most generic day one clothes and everything.
Yeah.
They ridiculed me. My friends
Ooh.
made fun of me. They're like, Louis, come on, bro. You got to get like some new swag and shit. I'm like, first of
that's
all,
another
none of
thing
you
too,
say
yeah.
swag.
In-game peer
Second,
pressure, like high school.
yeah, we're like, dude, I'm not spending any money. They're like, dude, it's only $50. I'm like, I already spent 60 to play with you idiots. I'm done.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like you said, you will get ridiculed sometimes by a random, like if you're wearing generic, you don't have the Jordans, you know, and like you said, you can earn some of this, but a lot of it you have to pay for. It makes me scary for when VR does take off and people do want to be in here. I'm like, man, some people are really gonna be spending more money. Like they're gonna be getting bullied to spend more money in the virtual world than they are like in real life. It's gonna be ridiculous.
I thought that like, oh, obviously, if this were real life, I'd be the best, like, you know, I'd be John Wick for real. And then I played in VR and I'm like, I squatted twice, winded. There's no way I'm being a basketball player in VR. Are you
Right,
fucking
yeah.
kidding me? There's no way.
Not with that attitude, Louis.
Right,
no,
yeah.
not with this stomach. I can tell you that.
I can't even bring up words for this anymore. It's so flabbergasting how insane all of this is, and I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Even Jake here tried to get me into buying more Fortnite skins. I'm like, nope, they got enough of my money. I'm done.
I mean,
I'm done.
it's fun. I mean, it's not changing anything gameplay wise. Like if it was
It
like
keeps
smaller
the competitive
boxes or
balance.
something, I could see how people might use it. But
Right.
Yeah. Anyways,
that's why I didn't mind spending $20 on Overwatch because I was like, It's not going to give me an edge. I'm not doing anything else. I want the skin that I want. I'm willing to pay for it. So I paid for it. I didn't feel any guilt. I actually felt a little excited because the next time I got on with my cousin, I'm like, hey, dude, check it out. He's like, oh my God, you got it. I'm like, I got it, bro. You know?
Yeah,
so
and that's definitely a different, take on it. Like, that's always a little bit more like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm paying for a little bit of a cosmetic item to make me kind of like embody my character a little bit more. But
and that's more
Absolutely.
like also too. I know we're wrapping up, but kind of like I guess the tattoos and the shoes. Okay, I get that, but like you said, the competitive balance, the fact that they even compete, I have to spend about at least $75 safe, probably just to make sure that I'm decent. And like I said, if you pre-order, it will come. You pay more, but you'll get that basically that VC that you'll pay that $59.99. You'll
question
get that.
on that too. I was going to ask this before. Is that per character? If you made a new character, you'd have to pay again.
Yep.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Oh
transfer.
man, forget that.
You can't. I mean, for that character, you can change some of the stuff. But again, if you built this guy to be a tank so that he can just go in and overtake and be your strongest defender, you can't just suddenly decide to make him a shooter or a forward.
Yeah, you'd have to make a different character, right?
You have to make a whole different character,
Yeah.
and then you have to do all that again. It doesn't transfer over. So
Yeah.
would you get
Victims,
your tail out of
man.
my face?
Anyways, I can't. I'm getting ill talking about
Right,
this.
yeah.
But we're gonna wrap up now and close it out before I vomit about all this awful VC nonsense.
That's going to cost you $4.99, Dan.
$49.99 to vomit.
Right.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us for this conversation tonight. We had a lot of good ups and downs. The transactions. Okay. Anyways, thank you, Jake. Thank you, Louie, and thank you, Jordan, for joining us for this conversation tonight. I appreciate the passion and the just a different perspective on all this. Yeah,
I made him.
I'm like
feel
checked out.
Yeah, no, this was fun, guys. All you guys are super passionate. I'm still worked up a little bit, but yeah, I hope to do this again soon, and it was great.
Okay, man, it's been great having you on. So
Absolutely.
begin.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Nice,
All right.
nice.
Thank you all. Have a good night. We'll see you next week. And be sure to check us out over on CouchSoup.com and leave a comment on the video on YouTube. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.